Hey, beautiful soul. Welcome back to the channel. I'm so grateful you're here with me today. Go ahead and grab your favorite cup of tea. Get comfortable and breathe with me for a moment. Because tonight, we're diving into something that touches both the ancient and the eternal. Witchcraft and spiritual awakening. And how these two paths are not separate at all, but deeply intertwined in ways that most people have forgotten. If you've ever felt that pull, that strange attraction to the moon, the woods, or the feeling that there's something more beyond the visible world, this conversation is for you. Maybe you've been sensing changes lately, your intuition sharpening, your dreams feeling more vivid, your energy more sensitive. You might even wonder, am I going crazy, or am I waking up? By the end of this video, you'll understand not only what's happening to you, but how witchcraft and spiritual awakening are two sides of the same key. One that unlocks your connection to nature, to the cosmos, and to your own divine power. We'll talk about the history, the science, the soul, and even the rituals you can use to awaken and ground your magic. And along the way, I want you to ask yourself, what if everything I was taught to fear was actually the source of my power? Let's start by returning to the beginning. The word witch comes from the Old English wiki, meaning wise one. It didn't always carry the shadow it does today. In ancient times, to be called a witch was to be known as someone who understood the rhythms of the earth, who could read the seasons, heal with herbs, and whisper prayers to the wind. In Mesopotamia, priestesses tended temples and used ritual incantations to balance energy and call upon divine forces. In ancient Egypt, magic wasn't considered superstition. It was a sacred science. The Egyptians called it Heka, the creative power of the spoken word, the life force that moved through everything. The Greeks later inherited these practices, calling their healers pharmakeia, those who knew how to transform matter through plants, energy, and intention. Witchcraft, at its core, was never about control or harm. It was about relationship with nature, with energy, and with the mystery of life itself. But as centuries passed and patriarchal structures tightened, those who practiced freely, especially women and the marginalized, became threats. The wisdom of the fields, the forests, and the stars was suddenly branded dangerous. Now, let's turn inward. What exactly is spiritual awakening? It's not something you find in a book or a single meditation. It's that moment when something deep within you begins to stir, when the old ways of seeing the world just stop making sense. Suddenly, you feel everything more deeply. You sense energy, synchronicities start appearing, and the universe seems to be speaking directly to you. Different traditions have described this in their own languages. In Hinduism, it's the rising of Kundalini, a coiled energy that awakens the higher self. In Buddhism, it's Bodhi, the enlightenment that comes when illusion falls away. Christian mystics spoke of it as divine union, the soul merging with God. And psychology, through people like Carl Jung, calls it individuation, the process of integrating your shadow and becoming whole. Science, too, has begun to notice what mystics have always known. Brain scans show that during deep meditation or prayer, the parietal lobe, the part of the brain that defines your sense of self, quiets down. It's as if your body literally lets go of separation. Your heart rate changes, your brain waves shift, and you begin to enter what neuroscientists call transcendent states. So if you've been feeling different, more sensitive, more connected, more aware of signs and energy, that's not your imagination. It's awakening. And maybe that's why you found yourself drawn to witchcraft too, because your spirit is remembering what it already knows, that energy, intention, and nature are alive and communicating with you. This is where things get beautiful. Witchcraft and spiritual awakening aren't separate journeys. They're two ways of describing the same process of remembering who you truly are. Think of witchcraft as the outer path, the rituals, the herbs, the moon work, the touch of the earth beneath your hands. And think of awakening as the inner path, meditation, shadow work, energy healing, the journey through the layers of the self. When these meet, something sacred happens. The inner transformation gives power to your outer rituals, and your rituals give form and grounding to the changes happening inside you. This isn't new. The Hermetic philosophers of ancient Alexandria understood this deeply. They combined Egyptian magic with Greek philosophy and early Gnostic teachings, saying, "As above, so below. As within, so without." To them, alchemy wasn't just about turning lead into gold. It was about transforming the soul, refining the spirit. Even the folk magic of our ancestors carried this truth. Across Africa, Europe, and the Americas, people used ritual not just for survival, but for spiritual alignment. When they lit a candle, they were igniting intention. When they spoke to ancestors, they were expanding consciousness. Does this resonate with you? Have you felt that your magic deepens when your spirit feels awake? Or that your awakening intensifies when you perform ritual? That harmony between inner and outer is where true power lives. One of the most sacred ways to bridge witchcraft and awakening is through the elements: earth, air, fire, and water. They're not just poetic metaphors. They're frequencies of consciousness, each teaching us something about balance and transformation. Earth is the teacher of stability. When you touch soil, walk with stones, or even meditate outdoors, you're aligning your nervous system with the electromagnetic heartbeat of the planet, what scientists call the Schumann resonance. It grounds your awakening, helping your expanding awareness stay anchored in the body. Air is the element of spirit and thought. When you focus on your breath, chant, or sing, you're literally shifting your brain chemistry. Deep breathing calms the amygdala, your fear center, and allows intuition to rise. Air is how inspiration moves through you. Fire is transformation itself. Science tells us that fire releases energy by rearranging molecules, and spiritually, it mirrors the same process, burning away what no longer serves so you can rise renewed. When you work with candles, bonfires, or solar rituals, you're mirroring the alchemy of change within your own psyche. And water, water is emotion and flow. Every cell in your body contains water, and researchers have found that water responds to vibration and sound. Ritual baths, moon water, even simply blessing the water you drink. These aren't superstition, they're energetic alignment with life's fluid intelligence. When you honor the elements, you're not just practicing witchcraft, you're living in communion with consciousness itself. Let's talk about why ritual matters so much during awakening. When your consciousness begins to shift, it can feel like your inner world is expanding faster than your outer life can catch up. Ritual becomes the bridge. It takes the intangible and makes it real. Lighting a candle isn't just symbolic. It's a signal to your subconscious that something sacred is happening. Creating an altar gives your spirit a focal point, a place where the invisible becomes visible. Celebrating the solstices or full moons aligns your body with the cycles of nature, reminding you that your awakening is part of something cosmic. Ancient mystery schools knew this. In Egypt and Greece, initiates underwent ritual purification, meditation, and symbolic death-rebirth experiences to awaken higher consciousness. These weren't just performances, they were technology for the soul. Even today, when you set an intention under the moon or meditate with a crystal, you're tapping into that same lineage of transformation. So if you've been waking up spiritually and feeling ungrounded, this is your reminder. It's okay to return to ritual. It doesn't have to be complicated. Even lighting a candle with pure intention is an act of magic and of awakening. We can't journey through this topic without facing its shadow. Witchcraft has been twisted, feared, and persecuted for centuries. The witch hunts that swept through Europe from the 1400s to 1700s took tens of thousands of lives. Many of them were women, healers, midwives, herbalists, people who simply refused to surrender their spiritual autonomy. The fear of witches wasn't truly about magic. It was about control. When people know how to connect directly with the divine through nature, through intuition, through their own energy, they become hard to dominate. That's why, even today, people still flinch at the word witch, because it represents freedom. And yet, here we are, generations later, remembering, reclaiming. The rise of modern witchcraft and spiritual awakening is no coincidence. It's a collective healing, a return of the sacred feminine, the rebalancing of power, the restoration of our relationship with the earth and the unseen. When you explore this path, you're not just learning spells or energy work. You're participating in a long-awaited remembering, one that your ancestors likely prayed you would one day fulfill. So how do you bring all of this into your life in a way that feels real and grounded? Start where you are. When you wake up in the morning, light a candle and breathe your intention into the flame. Let it represent your spirit, awake, alive, transforming. Spend time in nature, not just walking through it, but listening to it. Notice how the wind moves differently when you're in alignment, or how certain trees seem to pull you in like old friends. Keep a journal for dreams and synchronicities. These are messages from your deeper self. And when heavy emotions arise, don't run from them. Work with them. Shadow work paired with ritual, like writing what you're releasing and burning it under the moon, can shift energy in powerful ways. Celebrate the turning of the seasons. Honor the phases of the moon, and let your spiritual awakening unfold through the rhythm of the earth herself. You don't have to choose between being spiritual and being a witch. You're both, a being of light and shadow, cosmos and soil. So, my beautiful soul, as we close this circle tonight, I want you to take a breath and really let this truth settle in. Witchcraft and spiritual awakening are two languages that speak of the same journey, returning home to yourself. Witchcraft teaches you how to move energy, how to honor nature, how to live in rhythm with the sacred. Awakening teaches you how to open, how to see through illusion, how to remember that you are divine. Together, they remind you that magic isn't outside of you, it's you. If this message resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments. Tell me, have you felt your own awakening deepening through ritual or connection with nature? What practices have helped you stay grounded during your spiritual shifts? I'd love to read your stories. They inspire not only me, but everyone who finds this space. And if you want more heart-to-heart conversations like this one, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who's searching for their path back to magic. Also, if you're enjoying this channel, you might also love my other spaces where I share more insight on signs of the universe, personal growth, meditation, and affirmations. You can check it out. The links are in the description. And if these journeys have brought a little inspiration to your day, and you ever feel moved to support the work, there's a small donation link in the description. Your kindness helps keep the music playing and the stories flowing. But simply being here and sharing the space is already a gift. Thank you for walking this path with me. Until next time, walk gently, stay curious, and remember, your soul is ancient, your power is sacred, and you are never meant to forget it.